Today we get to talk all about the coordinate plane. Sometimes it's called a coordinate grid, sometimes it's called a coordinate graph. It's got a lot of different names, but the first page of notes refers to it as the coordinate plane. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to label our coordinate plane with the different parts that make it up. So yesterday, or actually this class was on Friday, when we were exploring with the boom cards, you guys were having to figure out where certain things were. Maybe without having seen this in a long time, maybe without ever even knowing about it. So maybe you've seen this and you it went in one ear and out the other. We're going to be reviewing everything today, learning all of the different parts of a coordinate plane because it is basically two number lines that are going to intersect. They crisscross. So it's like having a horizontal number line and having a vertical number line that crisscross right at 0 in the middle. Okay, that's basically what a coordinate plane is. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to label where you see all those little rectangle boxes. We're going to label each part of the coordinate plane. So the first box on the top left, we are going to label, I'm going to actually change my color, so give me just a second. Okay, we're going to label this the y-axis. The y-axis is the vertical, the up and down axis. Okay. The next thing that we're going to label is down at the bottom. This is called the x-axis. Notice how I have a hyphen after each of those letters, y and x, hyphen axis. Okay, x is horizontal, y is vertical. The very center of a coordinate plane is called, anybody know?
Middle axis.
Origin, very good. The origin is always going to be 0, 0, always. It will always be 0, 0. That's what that says there. Okay, now looking at the other three rectangles, we're labeling the parts of what we call a coordinate pair. Okay, we also can refer to it as an ordered pair. So order, ED, ordered pair. They are ordered a certain way. So 3 and 4 are purposefully put in that order. If I put 4, 3, it would be different because the first number in an ordered pair is telling me what my x coordinate is. The second number in an ordered pair is telling me what my y coordinate is. That way I know how to plot a point on a graph. Okay, so we're going to plot together, but on the next page of notes, we're going to break down how to plot a point so that you can refer to that page when you are expected to actually plot points on your own. So we're going to scoot over here to where it says plot data in the coordinate plane. Everybody see where we are? Okay. All right, so I have all of my coordinates. I have my x and my y coordinates. Do you remember which one is listed first in the ordered pair of x and y coordinates? The x is, okay? Remember, it's right here. Here's our example, okay? I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so that y'all can see while we're practicing plotting these points. Okay, so the very first one I want to plot is going to be 2, 9. It's like if I put parentheses around here and split it with a comma, that's my ordered pair. Does everybody understand how this table is working? Okay, so we're always going to start at the origin, always. So I'm going to start right here. And how far over on the x-axis do you think I need to go? Remember, x is horizontal. 2, because x is 2. Am I going to plot a point there, do you think? Or do you think I need to do something else?
You go up 9.
Then I need to go up 9. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right here is where my dot is going to go for my first point. Okay, everybody with me so far? Okay, the next point that I'm going to plot is 3, 1.5. So I have 3, I'm going to go over And I'm going to go up 1 and then not quite to 2. I'm going to be right here in the middle. Does everybody understand why?
Yes, because it's a half.
Because it's 1.5. Good. Okay. So this is my second point. Okay, the next one is 4.5 or 4.5, 4 and 5 tenths. How far over do I need to go? 1, 2, 3, 4.5. Up how many?
6.
4, 5, 6. So it's going to go about right here where my little red dot is. I just lost my place when I took my dot off. 1, 2, 3, 4.5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right here. Okay, and then my last one. Do you want to try plotting it on your own and then checking?
Yeah.
Okay, y'all try that one on your own. Remember, X comes first. Think about the alphabet. X comes before Y in the alphabet, so you're always going to go on the X first and then do the Y when you plot point 2. Okay, so you guys should have had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2. Right here? Is yours in about the same place?
Yep.
Okay,
Yes.
awesome. All right, let's look at some more examples.
I went 1 too high.
Okay, what if I give you the ordered pairs already plotted, and then I'm asking you to tell me what they are? How do you think I would name those ordered pairs?
Oh, the first one is 1, 9.
Okay, so we're looking at, which one are we looking at? This one?
The very first one.
Okay, well, there's one down here too.
Oh,
That's why.
that one's just 1.
No, is it?
Oh, it's 0, 0.
It's 0, 0. So let's start with that one. Okay, we have 0, 0.
Let me see that one. I thought it was
Then we're going to do this one up here. So we go over 1, up 9. So that's going to be 1, comma 9.
Let's go.
What about this one?
1.5 up 8.
1.5 over. Does everybody understand why? I go over 1 halfway to the next point,
And then over.
all the way up to 8. So 1.5 positive 8.
1, 3, and.
Okay, all the way down here. Don't blurt it out. Start at the origin again. How far over do I go to get to that point? Remember, I'm doing this one right here. So I'm going to go over 1, 2, 3, up 1, 2.5. Very good. Okay, y'all try the last 4 points and then we'll check.
Wait.
I think I'm short a spot. You can just add in the one that I'm missing. And when you're done, you can check and see if yours match. Okay, the very first one that I plotted after you guys started working on your own was 4 and then 8.5. So I went over to 4, all the way up 8.5. Then the next one I did was this point right here. So I went over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up 6.5 to get there. The next one I did was this one. So I go over 6, up 3. The next one I did was this one. I went over 8, up 1. And then the last one, over 8, up 5.
I did them first. I did the top.
You always do X before Y because X comes before Y in the alphabet. So that part is super important. Otherwise, you'll end up in a different location because the first one tells you how far over to go. The second number tells you how far up to go. Okay, another thing to think about whenever you're plotting points, think about your own self. Before you learned how to climb up anything, you had to learn how to get there first. You can't just like float over to what you're going to climb up. You got to get there first, right? You got to either crawl over there when you're a baby and then climb up or down, whatever you're climbing. Or think of an airplane. Airplanes don't just like up like a rocket, right? They have to like go down the runway first and then go up. So think about that when you're plotting points. It's very similar. You're always going to go sideways first and then go up or down. We are focusing on the very first quadrant. So each one of these sections in our ordered pair, if you look back, each one of these is called a quadrant. In 5th grade, we're only focusing on the first quadrant right here because everything is positive. Once you get introduced to negative numbers, then you'll start working in these other 3 quadrants. But for now, we're just focusing on just positives. Okay, we have one more section to look at on this page of notes. And it's a table with information given to us. So it's comparing cookies sold and it's comparing the money raised for the number of cookies sold. So what we would want to do is we would want to label our graph, and we're going to do more practice with this in the coming days, but we're going to see just one example right now. Okay, we're going to first label our graph with each part of the table. So we have our number of cookies down here. And then on the y-axis, we have money raised. So when I'm plotting my points, I'm able to figure out, okay, well, this is how far over I go to represent my number of cookies, and then how much money I earn from that number of cookies, I go up to that amount. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to label what each line is representing. So I'm going to label on my x-axis, I'm going to count by ones. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Same thing on my y-axis. I'm going to start with 1 all the way up to 10. And now I can plot my points. So the first piece of information that my table shows me is that I have 3 cookies sold and I raised $1.50. Where do you think the point would go to represent that amount? I'm going to start here at 0, 0. How far over do I go?
Go over 5.
I'm showing the first one, cookies sold. 3 cookies for $1.50.
And up 5.
Are y'all, hold on, look at my table where it says cookies sold and money raised. Okay, how many cookies did I sell? 3. So that's what this is labeled, number of cookies. So I'm going to go over to 1, 2, 3 cookies. And then I'm going to go up to the money raised. So this is $1.
Oh, 1.5.
The next one would be $2. But I'm going to go right here in the middle between 1 and 2 because that's $1.50. And that's where my point will go. Okay, next I'm going to go over how far? 4. So over here. And if I sell 4 cookies, how much money do I raise? $2. So my next point will go right here. My next point, I'll have to go over to 5 and then up to $2.50. So halfway between 2 and 3. And then if I sell 6 cookies, I earn $3. And 7 cookies is $3.50. Now this is like a perfectly straight line. Y'all notice how those dots are increasing at the same, like they're increasing 50 cents at a time.
Yep.
So that means that if I just sold 1 cookie, how much do you think 1 cookie would cost? If I continued that pattern, I would know that 2 cookies would be right here at $2. So 1 cookie would be,
$1. 50 cents.
well, 50 cents. Because, listen, look at my data. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit more here so y'all can see on the board better. Okay, so 3 is $1.50. If I continued that pattern, my next dot would go right here, which means that 2 cookies cost me $2. And then go down again, so 1 cookie would be 50 cents. Okay, so it's increasing 50 cents each cookie that you're adding. So we're going to do a lot of practice with graphing data from tables, not today, but later. So I want you to see how it's all connected on this one page of notes. So let's go to the next page. And this is just going to break down. We're going to go through this part pretty quick because we've gone through it so slowly together on the other one. So on this one, we're learning how to plot a point. So we're just breaking down how to plot a point. Step 1. So this is if you forget how to plot a point or if you need to reference it, okay? Huh? That's the one you handed back to me. Okay. The first thing you want to do, step 1, identify the X and Y coordinates. You have to know what the X and Y coordinates are before you can plot a point. The X and Y are also known as the ordered pairs. Sometimes we call them coordinate pairs. It's the same thing. So we can put AKA coordinate pair, just so you know that you might see that also. Step 2, once you identify them, you see them, okay? I know my X, I know my Y. I've got to remember, walk before you climb. Remember that example, that visual example I gave you? Got to walk before you can climb. In other words, move right to the X coordinate, then you move up to the Y coordinate. Okay, so this gives you step by step how to get to your point. Step 3, plot your point. Plot means make or draw. Okay, my ordered pair again goes in this order. X first, then Y. X comes before the alphabet. So X comes before Y in an ordered pair. Okay, I have that little note down there at the bottom for you in case you want to remember that.
Wait, what about Z?
Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to look at this table. This isn't even in a graph yet. I'm just going to look at this table and I'm going to list my ordered pairs off to the side over here with my X and then my Y. So my first ordered pair I'm going to list would be what? 0, 2. My next ordered pair would be?
1, 3.
Very good.
Good job, right?
Then 2, 4. Then 3, 5. Then 4, 6. And then 5, 7. I pulled all of those coordinate pairs or ordered pairs straight out of this table that's on your paper.
That was easy. Yeah, that was really easy.
The last thing that we're going to do is practice on the little half sheet. That is on page 71.
Well, to me it's 79.
So part of this is already done for you because if you notice up here at the top, it already has the Y labeled for you because if you look at the left side, it says label the following: the X-axis, the Y-axis, the origin, and we want to number the axis, okay? Plural is axes, A-X-E-S, in case you're wondering. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is label my X-axis down here. Then I want to label my origin, which is,
The point for the meeting.
yep, right here. What is it? What's the number there again? 0, 0, 0. That's my origin. Okay, then I'm going to number the axes. So I'm going to look at my X-axis and I'm going to number it. There are 12 on this one. And then I also want to label my Y-axis as well. And then it says graph the following ordered pairs. Notice how these have letters attached to them. When you plot one of those points, you're going to label the letter that is representing that point. All right, so the first point that I want to plot is point A, which is 3, 5. So I'm going to go, how do I get there?
Over 3 and up 5.
Very good. So my first point will go right here, and I'm going to label this point A.
Oh, nice.
Okay. You're going to plot the rest of them and label them. So you have B, C, D, E, and F. So try plotting them. Remember, the first one tells you how far over to go. The second number tells you how far up to go. Okay, here's what your points should look like right here.
Guys, I got it right. Yeah, I got it right.
How did we do? Okay?
I guess that bar.
Okay, awesome.